this is our skew, which we've just sharpened. And what we're going to do now is use it in a planing action. We're going to be sweeping the leading edge across the surface, and it will shear scrape the fibers. Before, as the blade was coming round, we were literally scraping off the top. With this turned on its side and that very sharp edge, we're going to be slicing through the fibers in a lot finer way, so that gives us a lot nicer surface. First thing we need to do is just to raise the tool rest above halfway, nice and secure. We're going to start off in the same way, with the back of the tool firm against the rest. We're going to rub, slowly pull it back, and then start turning onto this leading edge until we start cutting with this bottom third of the skew. When it starts to cut, we can slide it across the piece to create our cut. Okay. So, rubbing the bevel, and start lifting the handle, turning. So you've got there cutting on that front edge. And you can just slowly move across the surface, taking a very fine cut. So if all's gone well, as you can see, that surface is an awful lot smoother to what we had before. Okay, so now we can turn the blade over and do exactly the same action going in the other direction. Firm against the tool rest, rubbing the bevel, lift up the handle until we start to cut, and then move across the surface. It's a bit uneven, so it'll take a few passes to get it smooth. Okay, now we have a beautiful smooth surface, and that you could start sanding at about 200 grit and you'd get a lovely finish. Okay, the first cut we're going to do is with the 1-inch skew, and it's called the V cut. It does require a little bit of practice, but given time it's quite easy to get the hang of. First cut, with the long end of the skew, we're just going to push into the wood, again with the bottom of the tool firmly against the tool rest. We're going to make this cut in a downward action. Okay, we're not thrusting it in from the side, we're pulling it down. Now with this cut you won't be able to, or don't try to go in too far. You're going to meet a lot of resistance with the wood. The tip will overheat and you'll end up burning the wood. So just make that first cut. Okay, so tool rest nice and firm against your tool. Just drop the tip in and just a gentle push, and that's it. And that gives us a starting point. Okay, the next step, again with a long point, is to come in at an angle from the side and start chamfering in the edges, making a V shape. That's why it's called the V cut. I haven't gone in too deep, but on each stroke you're always taking that tip right down to the very bottom of the V, and you end up with a really nice tight and clean groove. You can make this as deep as you want depending on what you're creating, but so that's entirely up to you to practice and get the hang of it and make your own kind of style from it. Right, I'm going to make another one of these exactly the same, about 15 millimeters, 10 millimeters to the side. First cut with a long tip, and then coming in from the sides to make that groove deeper. Okay, now we have the two V's cut. We're going to create shoulders on the sides, and then we're going to turn this center into a bead. We'll start with the shoulders first. This time again with a skew, but we're going to use the shorter end. We're going to securely place the skew on the tool rest and then roll over and follow that dip down, just gently rolling over those corners. You don't need to go quickly, just take your time. Right, 2 quick seconds, I just quickly need to sharpen this edge up a little bit more. Right, as we mentioned before, to keep the skew sharp, we don't necessarily always have to keep on going back to the grinder. We can just take our honing tool and just dress those edges. See how, I don't know if you can see that, but it's got nice polish now on that corner. We'll do the same on the other side. There we go. Okay. Rolling over the corner down to the bottom of the V. There we go. We now have two shoulders either side of our grooves. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to turn this into a bead. I'm just going to get my pencil. I'm going to make a mark where I think the center of this bead is. And for this, we're going to use our spindle gouge. I'm just going to drop the tool rest down a little bit. And again, with this tool, it's the same principle. We're going to run the bevel against the wood, slowly drop the tip until it's cutting, and then roll over to the side. Okay, key things: rub with the bevel, bring it back, engage the wood, and then roll over. Rubbing the bevel, bring it back, start to cut, and just roll over the edge. Same with the other side. can just take the skew and just tidy up those corners. And there we have a nice bead. It does take a little bit of practice, but like anything else, the more you do it, the better you'll get.